that thing that you're wearing around your neck?
Yes.
Being as you are obviously known as being Iron Man, are you concerned with wearing a large thing in the exact same spot?
No.
Did you ever think of that?
Life is funny because I was doing this before I ever got fitted for the RT. So it was more of art imitating oddball stuff I was doing anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
but Iron Man, obviously, that's even more interesting because maybe you were born to be Iron Man because Iron Man obviously had that from the comic books.
Loosely prearranged destiny. And what's incredible is how far afield you can go from it and still find your way back.
Yeah. Well, there's been the whole superhero genre thing is so interesting to me because there's so many reboots and there's so many how many Hulks have there been?
Yep.
There's only one Iron Man though. You got that.
Thus far. What year is it?
You're Iron Man, man. It's
Okay.
just like there's certain dudes just own a role. And if anybody else tried to be Iron Man, we'd be like, nah.
Well, interestingly enough, East Coaster, a dad of some renown, very different. My dad was a kind of a underground filmmaker, auteur maverick. I grew up definitely being Bob Downey Sr.'s kid. Spent time on Long Island, which is, I think, where Tony was raised.
Yeah.
But when Stan Lee was really thinking that through, it was the Vietnam era, and he was thinking about the military-industrial complex. He was thinking about, how about if I can throw a little bit of, not politics in here, but karma. And he gets shrapnel by the own thing, and it becomes, So, and then, of course, there was the whole demon in the bottle. I think he was the first superhero who ever, had the, almost hang up his jersey because he was hammered.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there was obviously, but again, once something goes your way, you can draw all the parallels you want and you can call it destiny. But it was something that I definitely felt drawn to and I definitely fought for. And looking back on it, I go, why was I fighting for that? Because it turned out to be a pretty special thing.
Wow, it's an amazing thing. I mean, you embodied it in a very strange way. I mean, it's inexorable at this point. Which is why I thought it was cool that you're going to do Dr. Dolittle, because I love the fact I'm a fan of your work. You've done a lot of great stuff.
Likewise.
And you doing Dr. Dolittle is like a cool. I don't want to say you're not taking yourself seriously, but you're taking a
trust
risk.
that I'm not.
But you're taking. I mean, this is a fun kids movie about a guy who talks to animals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great break because if you're Iron Man, there's certain people that, for whatever reason, become a role and that is it. That's what we will accept. You are that guy. And you're not doing that. You're able to, through your talent and through your ability to take chances, you're able to be a bunch of different things as well as be the Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, don't we? I don't know. If I'm noticing anything now, it's that we need to shift and we need new challenges. And just like MMA and society and politics, things are moving and morphing, and the information age is making things so everything's learning and growing from everything so quickly and improving or disproving or discounting whatever's happening next. But for me, I heard that this was on the table. My missus, who's my creative partner in all things, said Steve Gaghan. I was like, I know Steve Gaghan, Syriana. Really? What did he do? He wrote, wow, that's a big turn for him.
Yeah.
And then I said, but why do I want to? And I looked out, and we live on a rescue farm. We have alpacas and goats and kuni pigs, and it's just crazy. And I was like, okay, same way I did with Iron Man a little bit. I was like, all right, there's something here. And then before I signed on, I was just Googling weirdest Welsh doctor. I just want to think of, I don't want to just do another English accent. So there's this guy, William Price, who's a nutty Welsh doctor. He was a neo-Druidist. He was someone who believed we could communicate with all nature and all that stuff. So I sent a picture of this wild-looking guy wearing a suit with stars on it and a staff in his hand. I sent that to Gaghan, and he goes, that looks right to me. I was like, great, let's do this movie.
It literally. Is the door to Ironman totally closed? Because I don't believe it is.
Oh.
You guys can go through time now. You can go. You already opened up that door.
Well, let me ask you the question. If I pick the jersey back up and put it on, wouldn't you feel a little bit like, oh,
no.
crap?
No.
Oh.
Here's what I think.
All right.
They go through a few semi-lackluster Avengers movies without you. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Here's the scene. There's a moment where the world's fate is at stake, and they realize they need a super genius. And then they figure out how to restart that time machine.
Great.
Come on, man.
Is that
the audience sees you when you step out of that thing?
Is this your? And you want a little arc on it too? Because if this is your idea, then you got to show up for it too.
I'll do it. I'll show up. What do I have to do?
I don't know.
I'll do whatever I have to do.
We all have to do whatever Kevin Feige says.
I'll hold the thing. I'll hold the clap thing. Do they still have that? Clap.
They do. They do. It's digital.
I'll hold that digital thing. I'll do it. But the way people would freak out if you came back, come on, man. Think about it. Take a few years off. Do a few Dr. Doolittles, a couple more Sherlock Holmes.
You know, it's interesting watching Eddie Murphy in this last little period of time. And I was talking to Colin Jost last night, who got to sit next to him at the Golden Globes and who was there and on the show and writing for him with him when he hosted recently. And I go, it's just incredible. Our culture never encourages taking a break, never encourages saying, don't chase that thing because you've got it in your hands. And I love the idea that if you're good at what you do, then it's not about time. It's about, it doesn't matter when you decide to pick up the mantle again. It's just about, but it's scary, isn't it? Could you imagine? Like if they just said, hey, Joe, just don't do the show for 4 years and then come back and do it again. You'd be like, that's a lifetime. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, with Eddie, what's interesting is he was arguably the greatest of his era and just stopped.
Yeah.
Just stopped for 30 years, and no one does that. No one who's that good. And then when you see him, I don't know if you ever saw him, he received some award, and he was on a panel, and sitting in front of a podium, rather, and he was talking about Bill Cosby, and he was doing this routine about them taking away Bill Cosby's awards.
Oh, God.
And the timing was so good, and all of us, comics were just sitting there going, he could do it tomorrow. He could just get up there tomorrow.
Yes. But it would be different.
It'd be different. He's a different human.
Yeah.
That's one of the more interesting things about it. It's him talking about some of the more homophobic stuff that he did in the past. Now it makes him cringe, and you just can't believe he was that person. But he was, when he did Delirious, I think he was like 22 or something crazy like that, which is just bonkers that he was that good.
Anyway, I've been thinking about him lately in relation to a bunch of things, but also just that particularly nowadays, giving yourself permission to not have to jump because, strike the iron's hot, all that stuff.
Yes.
And maybe it's just as a bit of an anxiety to the times, which I remember too. Speaking of past generations, I remember growing up 1974, Nixon's black and white TV getting impeached. My dad and his buddies are whooping it up, but they're still pissed. And I'm going like, wow, it's not worse or better. It's different, but now it's on us.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of an urgency. And that whole thing of just being able to say, so to answer your question, to me, starting up again is off the table. I feel I've done all I could with that character. There would have to be a super compelling argument and a series of events that made it obvious to it. But the other thing is, I want to do other stuff.
Right, of course. Yeah, of course. Congratulations. Yeah, my Taekwondo teacher said something to me when I was very young. They said that it is a tool for developing your human potential.
But we watch, it's just that thing of no matter what you think, the tides are changing quickly, and you just got to keep working.